Hi friends, welcome to Sada Learning Hub. You are with me, Shadashiv Rao. Today's session you are going to learn request and response formats. What about the request and response formats? When a request is made from a browser to a server, a browser internally creates a request document, and this document will be given to the HTTP protocol. The HTTP protocol will transfer the document to a server. The format of request document is going to here like this. This is the request line, this is the headers and the black line and the request body. This is here message body, this is the request line, this is the general headers, and this is the request headers, and this is the entity headers, and this is the message body. A request live contains there is a three parts. The first part is HTTP method, the second part is URL pattern, the third part is protocol or version. While sending a request, the browser adds same additional informations of it, additional information on of it by using the headers of the request. If the HTTP methods is get, then the request parameters are added to the request line, so the request body is not present. If HTTP method is post, then the request body contains request parameters. See here, if HTTP method is get, the request parameters are added to the request line, so the request body is not present. If HTTP method is post, the request body contains a request parameters. I can show if the HTTP get method is used by the browser, how it is created for the sample application. Now, for example, I am creating a small application. This is my login. Inside there is a two text boxes are available. This is my login button, this is my login servlet, and coming to here, this is login.html, this is the username, this is the password, this is the my login button, this is the login servlet. Now this is my request and this is my response. This is my request, this is my response. See here, for example, the HTTP GET method is used by then the browser creates the request document internally for the request. I can show if you are clicking on the login, if it is the, for example, it is a GET method, how the request is, if it is the POST method, how the request is. For example, I'm using the GET method. If you are using the GET method, the request is like this. Now, if it is GET, the request line contains like this. This is login srv question mark uname is equal to sada and pwd is equal to something sada. Now it's going to http, it is a protocol name slash it's a version. Next, headers. What the headers are available? The request itself, the browser itself, it adds the some headers. Those are localhost colon 8080, and it adds user agent colon whatever you are using that browser name. It accept ACCE PET accept language is colon whatever you are given accept language that can be show it here. And the next one is going to the whatever the BLA and blank lines. This is the way that the request body is empty. If you see here, this is the request line, and whatever you are created here, this is the headers, and the request body is empty. The request body is empty. This is if it is you are clicking on the login, if it is going to the get method, the request is going to like this. If it is the post method, for example you are clicking on that one, it is going to the post method. If the http post method is used, then the browser creates the request document internally like this. This is post method login srv. Under the login srv, it is going the it mention what's the protocol and the what's the version it is using. Now it's going to the headers, hostname, whatever the where you are calling, it is giving to the host name, and it giving the user agent in which browser you are calling, it's giving the browser name, and accept language, whatever you are giving the accept language that can be added into that one. Next it's going to the blank lines. This is the headers, and coming to the here, it is the post. This is the request body. Uname is equal to Sada, and pwd is equal to Sada. This is the if you are using the post method, the request line is post slash login srv and http 1.0. The headers is going same, whatever the headers is going to the get method, the same headers are going to this here also. And in the request body, if you are using the get method, it is going empty. If you are using the post method, the request body, whatever parameters you are sending, it is included into the request body. Next I'm going to discuss about some of the important headers added in the browser along with the request. The browser automatically adds some of the request into your header part. I can explain the most some of the common headers what browser going to included into your request. The first one is header name. Header name means the first one is header name. The first one is header name. It means the first one is accept. The first one is accept. Accept means the content type that are acceptable. It going to what content you are going to accept. It is the accept. The next one is accept char set. Accept char set means character set that are acceptable. There is a different type of character sets are available for us. It is going to tell which type of character set it is going to be accepted. And the third one is accept language. There is a different types of languages are available in our in those what language your application your user your browser is going to accept. The fourth one is user agent. User agent means browser name and their version. It's going to add the browser name and version. The next one is cookies. The cookies means an HTTP cookies previously sent by the browser. Then sixth one is content length. The content length is the length of the request of the body in the bytes. How much the content body of the length is in the byte. The seventh one is the date and the time of that message was sent. These are the some of the important headers added by the browser along with the request. Next, I am going to discuss about methods to read the headers into the servlet. See here, there is a different this is the request, this is the request format of our this is the request format. In this request format there is a different headers are available. Now if you want these headers, we can read it these headers by using the servlet. For that, there is a servlet request object is there. From the servlet request we can read that headers by using, there is a two methods are available. The first method is get request method. The first one is get header. It takes the header name. It takes the header name. Whatever giving the header here, it returns the value of that header. The second method is get header names. Get header names means it returns the iterator whatever the headers names are available into your request. So the servlet interface has provided the two methods to read the request headers. The first one is get header, it takes the header name. The second method is get header names. The get header method can read the value of that one header. The get header names is read to all the header names. It returns a collection object of the type enumeration. If you want to read the browser language, it can be servlet. Then, for example, I can give you an example. For example, string str is equal to request dot get header header of, for example, I need to know what is the accepting language. Accept. Now what the browser is added the accept language, it returns that accept language into the string format. Next I am going to discuss about response format. Now here, just now I discussed with the request format. This is the request format. Now I am going to discuss about the response format. In this response format, there is a three lines are available. If you see here, this is a response format. In this response format, the first one is the status line. The second one is the general headers. The third one is the response headers. The fourth one is entity headers. The fifth one is the message body. Now I can show a simple response header here. I can how the response header is. First it tells what's the protocol is and what's the version is and what's the status. There is a different types of status codes are available, that the status code and their status message. Next, what content it is returning means content. What's the content type it is returning? For example, text slash html. Next, what's the how much the content length? Content, what's the content length? It's going some content length. Next, what's the date when the response is response date? For example, Sunday 5 means 14th May 2017. Next, it adding the blank line. After that, it can be included the HTML, whatever response is coming, it can be included it into the here. This is the about the response format. First, it can be send it the HTML. The first line is the status line. In the status line, it can be show what the protocol it is using and what the version, and the next it is the status code. After that, status message. After that, it added the headers. What the headers previously in the request, also some headers are available, the same like that. This is the headers, the same like that. Here also headers can be added. Some of the headers I am added it here, the content type and content length and the date. After that, it can add the blank line. After that, whatever the response body is coming, it can be included here. Next, I'm going to discuss about some of the important response headers. Now I can explain some important response headers. Now I explain some of the response headers. The first one is catch control. The first one is catch control. The catch control is used to uh, tell all caching mechanisms from server to client whether they may catch this object. It is measured in the seconds. It is used to give this information. Catch control means it tells all the caching mechanisms from the server to client whether they may catch this object. It is measured in the seconds. The next one is content length. The content length means the length of the body in the length of the body in the form of bytes. It can be mentioned the length of the body in the content bytes. Next one is content disposition. The content disposition is used. It is mentioned an opportunity to raise a file download dialog box. The content disposition is used to raise a file download dialog box. The next one is content type. The content type is the MIME type of this text. It is used it's mentioned the MIME type of the text. The fifth one is date. Date means when the response is to be going. It's the date and the time that the message was sent. The next one is refresh. The refresh means after how many seconds the response is going to be refreshed. It's mentioned the refresh also. These are the some of the important response headers in the some of the response headers in the response format. Now I can show you. I think it's possible to show you question response gmail.com. I think it's possible into the Firefox. There is a inspect element is there. In the inspect element we can check what's the request is going and what's the response is check with. Is it possible to check um, elements data console more shortcut help can show console source network performance network Source content type. Okay, if your system contains Firefox, just click on the inspect element. Here it can be show the request and response formats. These are the request and response formats in the web page or web technologies.
Thank you so much watching this video. Hope this lesson helpful to you. Keep watching our lessons. Keep writing to us. Do not forget subscribe our channel Learning Hub because we have many sessions that would help you to develop our skills, and I will be back soon. Till then you take care. Bye bye.